Good evening, everybody. This is meteorologist Andrew Pinero with a kind of tropical activity weather update for you. So, Cindy's not a tropical storm anymore. It's barely a tropical depression. It's considered post-tropical right now. It is kind of a very scattered area of precipitation. Kind of like I was saying on Wednesday's weather podcast, it's disintegrated, but it's become a little bit more widespread. So I want to start with what's out there tonight or for the next couple of hours. We are seeing some severe thunderstorm warnings coming in from Pennsylvania, coming into middle part of New Jersey. So let me zoom in here a little bit. This is just south of Allentown, Pennsylvania right there. These yellow boxes, those are severe thunderstorm warnings. If I zoom in a little bit more, you can actually see these white specks. That's the trail of lightning strikes through the severe thunderstorm warnings. So these will continue to push east closer to the middle part of New Jersey. And then this looks like it's just to be going due east ever so slightly, northeast there. This is going to be over the next couple of hours, and it's going to be diminishing as the sun continues to set throughout the evening. Now behind it, we are seeing some little bit of breaks, but then a little bit more rounds of some storms making their way through. So overall tonight we're going to see this kind of on again, off again showers or rain. So the storms aren't really going to last too much longer. I'd say beyond 9 or 10 o'clock we're not really seeing storms. Anything after that is going to be like these quick little downpours. And it's going to be this again, on again, off again, where we're seeing a line there of rain, and in this case thunderstorms right now, then a break, then some more storms. So we're going to see that pretty much throughout the rest of the night. But tomorrow is when the main part, or the remnant part of Cindy makes its way up into the area. So if we take a look here, this is the American GFS right now. Before I even go forward on these forecasts, I want to show you, it looks very widespread, and this is pretty much this evening at about 8 o'clock with the forecast models. Bulk of it is still just southwest of Pennsylvania there, but it's very widespread. Now I want to show you the GEM, or the Canadian model. It's very similar, where we're seeing bulk of it is southwest of Pennsylvania. It's also still pretty widespread. And also the isobars are kind of matching between the Canadian and the GFS there. On the eastern part, or east of us into the ocean, it's getting breezy, but then they're a little bit more widespread going west of the area. Now the kind of outlier here is the NAM. The NAM looks quite different. This is the same time frame too. Not really as widespread. It's this kind of very narrow streak there of precipitation making its way through. So a couple of models agree, some models don't. And this is kind of what we've been seeing over the past couple of days. So with the NAM, let's advance on here. Right now, so this is about 2 a.m. 2 a.m. again, this is kind of showing the little breaks there. Some rain, then some breaks, then some more rain. And the yellows and the oranges there, that's some pretty intense downpours that we're going to be seeing throughout the night tonight. Going into tomorrow morning. So right here, this is about 8 a.m. We're seeing a pretty good streak there. And actually, let me zoom in tight right here. We're seeing this pretty tight streak of intense rain, and then as you get a little bit outside of it, it becomes very, very light to almost nothing. Then, the interesting part is this is pretty much gone by late morning. So as I advance, this is now 11 a.m. So 11 a.m., we're just seeing some little streaks there of some showery activity in the Hudson Valley. Still some intense showers or intense periods of rain once we get to the Twin Forks out in Long Island. That's going to be pretty much it. Then the next hour by noon tomorrow, it's pretty much out of Long Island and all out of the tri-state region. But we are still seeing these isobars pretty tight together, so it looks to be a little bit windy as well. Going beyond that into the afternoon, so this is 2 p.m. on Saturday. 2 p.m. looks pretty dry and looks like it's going to be getting a little bit sunny as well. So it's interesting, we're going to start out very bad with torrential downpours, maybe some thunderstorms as well. Then by Saturday afternoon, it looks like it's going to be partly to maybe even mostly sunny and pretty dry. And the other thing too is the other models were kind of showing the same thing. So now going back to the Canadian model here, we're going to fast forward. This is 2 a.m. So 2 a.m. is not showing as much of heavy precipitation, but it's showing much more widespread precipitation. So different takes on it. One's very narrow but intense. One's a bit more widespread but less intense everywhere. And then we're going to go, now this is about 8 a.m. So the Canadian, the gem here is not really as strong, and it keeps most of this heavy stuff south of us, getting into the Delmarva area there. That's kind of the story throughout the gem, is it's staying fairly south. Now this is 2 p.m. So 2 p.m. on the NAM showed pretty dry conditions. However, 2 p.m. on the Canadian doesn't show very intense precipitation, and the bulk of it is offshore, but we're still seeing maybe some lingering showers going into southern New Jersey or just barely scraping the south shore of Long Island there. Nothing really in the Hudson Valley at that time. Then by Saturday evening, pretty much out of the entire area, just maybe a lingering shower just on the Jersey Shore. That's about it. Now let's switch over to the GFS again. And now we'll stop at 2 a.m. So 2 a.m. here, it's also kind of showing what the NAM was showing with this on again, off again, kind of little breaks in the rain overnight. But it's still showing some pretty intense precipitation, just barely getting into southwest Pennsylvania. Now that may come into our area, because on the GFS, this is 8 a.m. Just a few little yellow streaks there, just ever so close to the western part of New Jersey. So this is showing a little bit more widespread, but a tiny bit more intense than the Canadian was for Saturday morning. Going later on, so now we're going to go into 2 p.m. on Saturday. And this is showing what the NAM was showing. Pretty dry for most areas. The eastern half of Long Island, say Suffolk County and east there, still in some showers. Then by Saturday evening, it's pretty much out and dry everywhere. All this showery activity looks like it's not really going to make its way in either overnight Saturday into Sunday. So very quick, I want to touch on Sunday with the weekend. So this is the picture for on the GFS about 2 p.m., which is showing very dry. So Sunday does look to be very pleasant. And then when we switch to the Canadian, this is now also 2 p.m. on Sunday, which is showing a nice little dry slot through all the tri-state region. And the last one here is the NAM. So on here, when I go to Sunday, there's 2 p.m. Sunday, and the exact same picture. Dry everywhere in the tri-state region for Sunday. So Saturday, just to recap, Saturday is going to be nasty start. We're seeing torrential downpours in some areas. It's not going to be exact, like I can't pinpoint and say specifically there is going to be a torrential downpour. It's very uncertain where these downpours are going to be, but there's a potential for some very heavy rain out there. Otherwise, it's pretty much just going to be very rainy throughout the morning, but it's going to be a fast mover. So by 10 or 11 o'clock throughout most of the tri-state, we're seeing it pretty much drying out. Then by the time we get to the afternoon on Saturday, it's pretty much dry. And then Sunday is definitely the pick of the weekend. It's going to be a fairly beautiful day. It's not going to be as humid because the humidity that's out there right now is from Cindy. And Cindy is what's making it feel very uncomfortable throughout the tri-state region. So I wanted to give you this quick little weather update. I'll have more on Cindy as Cindy's really in our area tomorrow. So I just want to give you again that quick little weather update. Have a great evening, everybody. This is meteorologist Andrew Pinero. Definitely subscribe below if you want to keep getting these weather updates. Have a good evening.